Hello there fans of the Spring Duo channel, Tap Wait here, and I'm bringing you another video. I hope you like the new setup. It's something I'll address in a future video coming out today, but for right now I want to talk about the video title, obviously, which is shit writing versus Asspulls. And what I think you guys should know is the difference between those two terms. Now I know that a lot of people in a lot of different fandoms use the terms interchangeably, almost as if they mean the same thing, and I'll admit that considering these are just terms thrown around in fandoms, the actual definition would be incredibly shoddy, and they could very well mean the same thing to two different people. But I'm going to give you guys my explanation, so when I use the word Asspul, you know what I'm talking about. When I use the word shit writing, you know what I'm talking about. And this will be the same definition Victor will use in all of our videos. So be sure to reference this video often. If you ever hear me say the word Asspul or the word, well actually, the multiple words shit writing, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about by referring back to this video. And if you see anyone else is confused, please link them this video. That being said, I want to get into this very quickly because I've wasted almost an entire minute on just an introduction of a relatively short and simple topic. So now that I've explained that I'll be referring to these terms often, it's time to define those terms so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, now I'll start with shit writing, which is actually fairly simple, all things considered. Shit writing, for me, is simply defined as, subpar writing. Alright, that's usually what someone means when they're talking about shit writing. They're talking about writing that's not very good, writing that is subpar. For me, the definition of shit writing is when a concept is used and referred to as an explanation to justify actions that otherwise seem poorly thought out. Now, I'll repeat that because I know I can sort of grade A content, right? I'll say that again because I know I sort of muddled through it that first time. So please pay attention to what I have to say here. Shit writing, in the context in which I use it, refers to an explanation used to justify an action that otherwise seems poorly thought out. It's very straightforward, and I promise to give examples throughout the video, so I'll give an example right now. An example of shit writing in Dragon Ball Super is the Dragon Ball Super anime, of course, is Goku Black's Zenkai boost. Goku Black is capable of growing stronger throughout battles through the pain he experiences. Now, we're never explained how he's able to do this. We're simply told that Black goes stronger with each fight, and he specifically remarks himself several times that he grows stronger every time that he is injured. Seemingly injured and not killed, though we never even saw what kind of blow could kill Goku Black in the anime. Those thoughts aside, the real issue with the way Goku Black is portrayed in the anime is that he's able to grow stronger through every fight in what the fans dub to be Zenkai boosts. And for those who are unaware, in the Dragon Ball Z fandom, Zenkai boosts refer to a boost a Saiyan receives when they are revived from near death and return stronger than they were before. This is a Saiyan trait used to explain some of the power-ups Goku got in the original Dragon Ball manga, and is most importantly a pivotal plot point in the arc in which more importantly, it's a pivotal plot point in the arc which it's introduced, Namek, or the Frieza arc, however you want to refer to it. However, the important thing to remember about this is that those refer specifically to near-death experiences, and they have to recover from them. Goku Black simply takes damage and then grows stronger. We're not told if he can heal instantly, if he has some sort of healing factor. There was actually a theory, I just found this out the other day, that when the Black arc was going on, people thought that Black was immortal just like Zamasu because he continued to recover from any amount of damage dished out to him. When the simple fact is they don't explain why his durability is so insane, or why he continues to grow stronger through clear pain he's feeling that every time manages not to kill. Now, that's a minor thing, but that's the entire point about shit writing. It's serviceable at best. It's not a very good explanation, it's not very good writing, hence the name, but it's some form of writing, which makes it different from Asspulls. Now, an Asspull is easier to find, and I find that many people will probably agree with this definition, unlike shit writing, which people will find has multiple definitions. Alright, an Asspull is a story convention where something occurs with no explanation, often conflicting with previous information given about said series or said events. And I'll give you another example from the Goku Black arc. And if you're wondering why I'm using Goku Black arc examples, it's because I find it to be the best arc in Dragon Ball Super so far, but considering the Tournament Power arc is about to end and it hasn't improved, I'll have to hold on to that opinion. But that being said, I just want to show that these are the examples from the best arc of Dragon Ball Super. So I'm not cherry picking examples from the arcs that the fandom agrees are bad, or moments from the Torrent of Power arc that we've already gone over are bad. I'm going back to the best arc in this series and explaining what's wrong with it. That being said, Super Saiyan Ikari Trunks and his Gekidama sword. For those of you who are somehow unaware and somehow didn't watch the trash that is Dragon Ball Super's anime, during a fight between Zamasu, Goku Black, and Trunks, they call him a sinner and blame every action they've taken on this world to be the result of Trunks' sin of traveling back in time in order to find a way to defeat the artificial humans. He becomes angry at this and transforms, and then in his transformed state he goes from Super Saiyan 2 to some new form that the anime doesn't bother to name. The only name we're given for this form is Super Saiyan Rage, which translates to Super Saiyan Ikari and also Super Saiyan Anger, but that one sounds lame, so I'm going to stick with Super Saiyan Ikari, just because it sounds cooler than either of those two, even though Rage definitely sounds cooler than Anger. So keep in mind, the names we got aren't even that great, but those aren't... Yeah, there's really not much else to say there. The names we got were not good, so I'm just going to stick with Super Saiyan Ikari. Now, that name wasn't even given in the anime. The form is actually named in the arcade game Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I just like the way that rolls off the tongue. But, yeah, the form comes out of nowhere because Trunks is angry. A lot of people defended this, saying it was Trunks' arc, so he deserved the power-up, and I find those people are arguing from the wrong perspective. What you're arguing is something happening for the sake of narrative. If the narrative is about Trunks, Trunks should be the one to win, and it doesn't matter how he does that. I consider an Asspul to be a mini Deus Ex Machina. It doesn't have to resolve the story, so it's not exactly the same type of god from machine as Deus Ex Machina means, but rather it is the plot being changed or altered radically in order to suit the needs of a specific character at the time. So, the example I'm using is Super Saiyan Ikari Trunks. The form comes from him being incredibly angry. We're not explained why the form occurs, or we're told that it happens because he's angry. Yet we're not told why a Super Saiyan 2 who was angry before never achieved this form. Why did Majin Vegeta not become Super Saiyan Ikari Majin Vegeta during that fight? Why didn't Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, with his legendary anger, become Super Saiyan Ikari? Why didn't Gohan become Super Saiyan Ikari when he was fighting Frieza and he became enraged at Piccolo's death, rather? Gohan's character died in that scene. Sorry, I got confused. But it leaves open a lot of questions because it's a power pulled out of the writer's ass in order to make Trunks a more compelling and more powerful protagonist during that part of the arc. Next, they give him the ability to create a Gekidama. They call it the Spirit Sword. And I think that is, again, something that was named in the video games and not actually provided in the anime. That being said, it's never explained how Trunks can gather Genki, how he can manipulate it and turn it into a sword of all things, and why he can gather Genki while fighting, something Son Goku cannot do in any Dragon Ball property. Not even in Super Dragon Ball Heroes does Goku obtain such control over the Gekidama that he can summon the ki to himself. Yet, somehow, Trunks manages to do it. Now I hope that's made it clear for you what the difference I have between shit writing and Asspulls are. Now, you've seen the cover photo, so we got into the section of the video you were waiting for, which is Caulifla, as this video is a part of the Caulifla Sucks series, as well as it being just a general video of the topics I want to discuss with you guys. So, how does Caulifla fit into both of these categories? I bet you're wondering. You're sitting there thinking to yourself, how does Caulifla fit both categories? Well, we have original Super Saiyan transformation. Now, a lot of people call this an Asspul. By my definition, it would not be. Let me explain. How does she become a Super Saiyan? Well, by focusing the ki into her back and making it all tingly, quote unquote. This is an explanation. Now, is it stupid? Yes. Does it contradict narrative? Yes. I made an entire video about that. Link in the description box down below. But the important question we have to ask here is, was it explained? It was. It was a crappy explanation, hence why it's shit writing. but it's not an Asspul. Minimal effort was put in. Keep in mind that's the difference between an Asspul and shit writing. There's no effort put into an Asspul, but they at least tried something with shit writing. That being said, Caulifla's Asspul is during her fight with legendary Super Saiyan Kale, or Super Saiyan Berserk Kale, or Super Saiyan Emerald Kale, whatever you want to call that form of Kale. She fires Ki Blast at Kava. Caulifla, as I love to mention, with the flick of her wrist, deflects said Ki Blast. But while doing so, she transforms into a Super Saiyan 2. She never acknowledges the change in power, the change in appearance, and even Kava makes no note of the fact that she discovered an entirely new transformation, seemingly unintentionally. Now later they go back and have her achieve the form by making her back all tingly after stating she couldn't do it again. But keep in mind that that was an Asspul. They don't explain how she transformed into a Super Saiyan 2. They don't explain it later. The power ultimately does nothing, as it doesn't make her character any more powerful in the sense that she can impact the story. So it's not a Deus Ex Machina, it's only an Asspul, as it only fits that one moment and is only relevant that one moment to give her some quote-unquote cool moment before the tournament of power begins. It was dumb, and it was stupid, and it was an Asspul. And I just want you guys to understand the difference in which each thing is. So as I go through these videos, specifically the videos where I talk about Caulifla and how her character contradicts the narrative and makes Dragon Ball Super a worse series actively the moments in which she's on screen, know that when I'm talking about shit writing, I'm talking about her doing things through poorly explained means that make no sense. And when I'm talking about her Asspulls, I'm talking about her contradicting the previous series and pulling some kind of power, ability, or skill out of her ass. Now to go over the stuff I promised I'd go over at the end of the video. Oh, and before I do that, I want to go over just one more thing. A sort of response to my quote-unquote critics, I guess you could say. And my response to Dragon Ball not being a perfect series in general, and as such, I shouldn't be judging Dragon Ball Super in the manner in which I do. So, yes, Toriyama is not a brilliant writer. If one were to judge him as a mangaka, it definitely have to be average at best. Dragon Ball as a franchise is a good story. Nothing great, nothing terrible, simply good. Taking off in popularity by having what people wanted when they needed it. It's apparent by story choices taken during the manga's original tenure that he wrote it by the seam of his pants, and rarely had events planned out in advance beforehand. He is well known and documented for forgetting things after the fact, and altering characters / events to suit whatever story he's currently trying to tell. Quite easy to look back at his mistakes today and not notice them, as the current iteration of Dragon Ball that people grow up with is not the week-to-week series it once was, and has had most of its continuity errors ironed out, for the most part at least. For example, the error of Gohan's age or certain Dragon Ball rules. Now, your question for me becomes, if you harp on DBS, a weekly anime akin to Toriyama's formerly weekly manga, being inconsistent, why do the inconsistencies in DBS bother you more than DB, and including the anime DBZ? So to put it simply, hypothetical viewer, the devil is in the details. Toriyama tended to change and forget minor details that didn't impact the overall narrative. Gohan saying he was 3, and in the next chapter marking that he's 4, is a significant change in the context of the story where he's still just a young child who is Goku's son. In addition, most of the changes being rather small and relatively minor, we do have to keep in mind his work conditions were a bit different. Note that I'm not defending Toriyama in a sense to say that Dragon Ball is still a perfectly written series. It's obvious my stance on the series as a whole is that it's just good. I'm merely saying that these occasional minor screw-ups can be considered par for the course, considering he was writing week to week with no plan in mind, meaning no direction for the story, a competitive industry where he had to continue to sell or lose his job, and massive editorial control mandating those changes. Compare that to DBS, which is the sequel to a 20-year-old series that has tons of lore from Toriyama interviews in the expanded universe as seen in Dragon Ball Online, Dragon Ball Heroes, and Dragon Ball Xenoverse, along with several well-written guides detailing all of the above information into literal books. This is what makes their errors so jarring. They literally have reference material that's hypothetically at the ready. Not to mention the show is the successor to, arguably at least, Dragon Ball Z Kai, a fillerless version of the DBZ anime, made with the intent to get rid of inconsistencies brought on by Toei's own writers 20 years ago. So they have the original series on file. Keep in mind they use footage from Kai and DBS, so to me at least it seems far more acceptable to deem DBS, the anime at least, having problems when looking at it from the lens of this being an average series and not meeting even that benchmark. No one is demanding high-tier art, just Dragon Ball. If you think I'm being hard on the show, I promise my reviews in the future will explain all my grievances in full. Now onto the elephant in the room, the Cell arc. I've gone on record as saying this is my favorite arc in the original series, and one that I feel is written the best. This arc too has inconsistencies and even plot holes. Just watch Mr. Ray Fusion's videos on the subject and you know that much. I'll admit several of the plot holes do interrupt the narrative. Now I list them, I react to them, and why they are either inferior or greater than those of DBS. In terms of character, Yamcha takes a dive by cheating on Bulma. This doesn't suit his established character, and in a way ruins him considering it's not an action he would have taken. This is done purely for Bulma to have Trunks. Admittedly, this is just flat out bad. There's no redemption for Yamcha, and there will never be any redemption for his character. This is akin to DBS's treatment of Vegeta. Or, really, DBS's treatment of everyone who isn't Vegeta, and later Gohan and Krillin. Trunks states that number 18 and 17's names are originally 19 and 20. However, he changes this to 17 and 18 due to editorial control, mandating a different looking villain. So this gets a pass. Next, the Z Fighters refuse to use the Dragon Balls to find Gero, despite it being counterproductive to their desires. This matters because the arc could have ended here, and it is stupid of them to not want to do this. Once again, I'll consider this a damning event. Cell remarks that he didn't get Trunks' DNA because he didn't have enough Saiyajin DNA, but Trunks was not in his timeline. This is just a dumb line. Time travel is another big one, as Cell shouldn't have arrived in the 4th timeline, but I can say that this is possible, because time traveling can cross streams in DB, so to speak. This is a fuck up, but not one I think is worthy of exploring. Vegeta going from smart to arrogant I find is fitting for him in relation to his power, a character flaw. Trunks was stupid, he should have killed Cell or number 18 himself. Mutually, I think his love for his father can be argued as the reason for this impact on his character. Krillin not killing number 18, I can also think I can blame on his character, but I agree that it was a dumb decision. Cell not dying due to the cell in his head being destroyed is indeed definitely bad. Gohan's characterization I feel can be chalked up to him being young and naturally indecisive. His desire to be a scholar and a fighter being put against each other can be pinned to him weighing the options of everything that's happened to him in life up to that point. I am perfectly willing to admit this arc has problems, and on review, they're greater than what I recall. But I stand by what I've said. DBS is worse. Stick with me and you'll find out why. For now, I know that I've admitted to and acknowledged the problems with this arc. I've been intellectually honest, which is all that I ask of anyone who takes problem with my problems with DBS. Intellectual honesty. That being said, I did promise to go over a few things, and I'll get into those things now. Back at the beginning of the video, say hi to me from the past if you want, by going back and hearing me say it again. But for right now, I'd just like to make a few small announcements. I have a lot of updates that I'm doing for the channel, many of which you've seen in this video, and those will get their own separate video on the channel coming very soon. But for now, I just want to address channel playlists. Now, it's no secret that on this channel we have a lot of playlists, and these playlists include each different section of things that we're working on, plan to work on, and will continue to work on. So if you want to watch every video in this series titled Caulifla Sucks, simply go to the playlist I created today for this video. That will be there after this video is up, obviously, and you'll see it on my channel. It's titled Caulifla Sucks. As you can read, I assume you have no problems doing that if you're watching one of my videos. But you can find every video we do on Caulifla in this section. That's regardless of what other section it fits into. For example, this will fit into our debating in terms section, but it also will mutually fit in the Caulifla Sucks section. Also keep in mind that any other discussion we normally have about Dragon Ball on this channel will be in the Dragon Ball Thoughts section. That's really all I want to say on that subject. I just really wanted to point this out for all the people who are wanting to debate me in the comments section. All you really need to do is look through the other videos, because it's possible I've already addressed one of your arguments before. So just look through this Khalifa Sucks playlist, watch all 3 videos, and then if you still have an argument, we can debate. But I've had people ask me questions that I've already answered in other videos. So I'm just going to start linking those videos, and I want you guys to refer them to the playlist. And keep out for that channel news video that I'm going to be putting out next. I would like to thank everyone for watching this video. I hope you remember to like, comment, favorite, share, and subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell. We've reached 100 subscribers, and we'll be doing a podcast very soon. And like I said, there's a bunch of new news and new events going on our channel. So feel free to check out the video I'll be posting right after this one, where I talk about it. This has been Tap 108 of the Supreme Duo, signing out. Catch you guys later. Peace.